Hi, I'm a massive nerd, and I used to love Destiny 2. Now, there are several dozen YouTube videos made by people significantly more qualified than me to tell you how deep in the doo-doo bungo is. Me complaining and calling out mistakes in the game's direction and the company's priorities is inevitable, but the point of this isn't just to be critical. So when I say that the devs have backed themselves into a corner I honestly don't know if they can get out of, it's because I still care about Destiny. I hopped on the boat at the launch of Destiny 2. I had no idea what was happening or who any of these characters were, but I'm told that's generally how it goes with Destiny. I dove into the lore, hunted for god rolls, fished, bitched and moaned about the Season of the Worthy and that goddamn door for the Felwinter's Lie quest, slayed gods, procrastinated unlocking stasis. I was there for the whole damn thing. And I have not logged in since Act 2 of Season of Echoes, and I refuse to call them episodes because they're just seasons. Me and Warframe have been going steady for about 7 months or so. I still think about Destiny though. I've been trying to keep half an eye on the story, but I feel absolutely no drive to log in, because there's nothing in the game worth earning. There is no early, middle, and late game in Destiny. There's the tutorial, current season, raids, and a whole lot of story behind a paywall. There is no point in grinding for bigger numbers, because the power level's just gonna get squished. The guns you earn today will be power crept tomorrow, and the story is good if you know what the fuck is happening. Most of the game's story has been Thanos snapped out of existence because the devs haven't found a permanent solution to their tech debt problems, or whatever it was that made them sunset content people paid money for. After some thought, I think I've come down to Destiny's most fundamental problem. Not their only problem, but the one at the center of a whole lot of the rest of it. Guns are the only real loot. Armor is for fashion. They tried giving it identity before, but that just gave people headaches and made them sell their kidneys to upgrade it. Today, every piece of armor is basically identical. You grind armor until you get meta armor, then you never grind armor again until the meta changes. I think I've had mine since the current armor rework. You can get redundancy for easy swaps, but you can never truly upgrade, unless Bungie decides to release a new mod, or they send out a balance pass. You can change your builds, but the floor and the ceiling are a millimeter apart. Armor is either okay, or it's shards. They did release Artifice armor, which is technically better by exactly 3 stat points? Bungie has stated they're going to rework armor. If I was Bungie, I'd probably do something akin to Monster Hunter, where an armor set has an ability or passive, and for every piece of the set you wear, the bonus gets stronger. But this leaves guns as the only thing in the video game worth grinding for. And so, all of the sandbox development and resources go into the guns. There are only 2 pathways towards upward growth in Destiny once you have put in the set number of hours to unlock your abilities and mods, during which you probably bumblefucked into most of a usable set of armor. And that is knowledge of tools and game systems, and guns. The new guns must always be better than the old guns, however. If you're not a completionist who is gently lulled to sleep by the blinking lights of the Triumphs and Collections tabs, you're not grinding in the name of a downgrade. So power creep is constant and ruthless. And with the squish of power levels and the non-existence of a long, linear story from beginning to end, you cannot start at power level 0 and eventually hit power level 9000 or whatever it's at when you're watching this. The number is meaningless. Only the impact, accuracy, handling, reload, and archetype matter, because they can't come up with new perks forever, they simply cannot. So, my solution. I said at the top of this wouldn't all be criticism, and that's been a blatant lie so far. Add more things to grind for. Get me to log in for something that isn't just a different reskin of the Beloved or Recluse. What could we grind for, you might ask? What could Bungie make that they haven't tried? Well, I made a fucking list. Consumables, which existed in D1 in some form. They do exist in D2, but only for useless shit nobody cares about. Give vendors shit to sell that isn't guns or other different currency. I'm talking an item you pop for 20 seconds of reduced void damage. Throw back a potion for 10 seconds of radiant. Some chip you buy off Nimbus that gives you increased jump height for 30 seconds. All this shit would need to be balanced and tuned, but I'm not a Bungie dev, that's their job. I can tell you this though, the people logging in once or twice a week just to raid with friends will be on more, because they're running Garden of Salvation this weekend and they want to stockpile potions of arc resistance for the final boss, because God oh fucking lord, have they died to the arc pools way too much. You know what else could get more people on? Bungie actually keeping its promise to phase out and truly change the seasonal model. What? 19 proper seasons have come and gone, each with 25 perks on the artifact that each got hucked into the void once it was said and done. Lore tabs, gone. Many being interesting objects lore-wise that were severely underappreciated. I say, between exotics and subclass changes, we have more tools for dealing with champions than we had when artifacts first came out. Not to mention new methods they could introduce tomorrow. So instead of having the artifact be a pretty menu that leaves at season's end, they take the 5 most iconic perks from each, or 5 randomly rolled perks from that season, with 1 or 2 being selectable at a time to be activated, and have the artifact be something you can farm and swap between. 18 of them makes for a decent head start, and Bungie could make more with relative ease, recycling some of the 475 perks that have been available through the artifacts. Heck, make them strike specifically. Make them visible on your character, hanging from your belt with the option to toggle it off. Make the fashion people happy. Want to make the fashion people even happier? Knives, rings, and knuckles for our unpowered melees. It's fashion visible from first person, and it solves a number of pesky problems, as there have been some discussion the whole time the game's been out, around if the classes should have different unpowered melee damage, range, and animation speed. Well, give us a slot to swap these out and let us choose for ourselves, with ranges of stats and a small number of perks, plus the visual options would make this a well-received addition, even if they do basically nothing. I know people will want a shiny golden knife for their hunter. They simply will. Bungie almost released something interesting alongside weapon crafting, that being mementos. Rare items that can be slotted into crafted weapons for some reason. I never noticed an aesthetic change of any kind, and the fact that I can't remember what they do, and I guarantee you probably don't, is proof that these need a change. So how about it changes the animation of your weapon firing? The Gambit one making your shots an emerald green, for example. Heck, just give us some fucking cosmetics to grind for. We've got 20 plus seasons of ornaments backed up, and I know they aren't all selling. Heck, take some armor that isn't earnable anymore and turn it into cosmetics to drop from world loot or a seasonal activity. Because if you start playing the game after a certain date, then there are about 10 armor sets, probably more, you will never see. If we wanted, we could even dip into Fantasyland, where Bungo decides to implement space combat and player housing, with ships having their own weapons, engines, and shields, and decorations for player housing coming as potential drops, like a 1% chance for Crota's sword to drop when you kill him, so you can hang it on your wall, or maybe a quest line for different skyboxes and foundations for your clan hall. The point I'm trying to make is, the game needs something new. Desperately. Because Bungie seems determined to take a very long walk off an ever-shortening pier, stretching itself thin in an industry filled with competition, clearly struggling with the layoffs. Trying to keep its community engaged is a hard task. One they've been struggling with for ages. I hope Bungie will find a way, because it found a way after D1's launch, and D2's, and after Curse of Osiris, and Season of the Worthy, and Shadowkeep, and Lightfall, and now the aftermath of the Final Shape is upon them, and they've been experimenting. They've softened power requirements, and they're experimenting with roguelike mechanics, which I didn't have on my bingo card, but it made Season of the Deep one of my favorites in recent memory. The story remains amazing, the soundtrack guy continues to kill it, alongside the level and world designers. What I'm trying to say is, I used to love Destiny. That doesn't mean I won't be sad to hear it meet an untimely demise. That's enough out of me today. If you disagree with my take, or you have your own ideas on what kind of loot that Bungie could put out, feel free to discuss in the comments. If you liked the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you want to hear me yap some more, feel free to subscribe. I'll see you around.